What harsh parenting does to the brain. Harsh parents tend to spank, shake, and often get angry at children. People brought up by harsh parents can become fearful adults, new research shows. Harsh parents tend to spank, shake, and often get angry at children. Researchers observed critical differences in the fear processing circuits of the brain among adolescents who had been subject to harsh parenting. Anxious people in particular tend to become very sensitive to threats later on when they receive harsh parenting. Early spanking has been linked to greater negative emotions such as irritability, other research has already shown. Spanking children is also associated with poorer mental development, weaker emotional ties between parents and children, increased risk the child will hit other children, increased risk the child will later hit their partner. So a lot of times, I know this is very common, especially in the West, spanking. I know it's glorified and people show it off. It's like a badge of honor growing up, telling spank stories and things like that. I have my own, but we know this isn't the way of Rasul Sallam. This is not how he raised his children. We do know for sure a lot of children who are spanked or even abused can end up being bullies, end up in trouble, not do well in school, not really become the best that they can be. And what's even more sad is that a lot of them will feel like they're fine, but that's only because they've become emotionally illiterate. They hide a lot of their emotions, or not hide, but a lot of their emotions are so buried that they're not even in touch with them anymore. And they find themselves kind of feeling unfulfilled and they really don't know where it's coming from. And then this can also be passed on to their children. So we have this cycle, especially in the Ummah, we could have this cycle, neglected children, abused children. The parent just doesn't have the time or the skills to raise their children properly. In my opinion, I'm saying properly, meaning they take the time to teach their children. They have patience. In fact, even in the West, they have this thing called timeout, which I know a lot of people, they make fun of it because they think you're supposed to spank your children, but timeout is for the parent. When you put your child in timeout, it's giving you a break from putting your hands on them. It's saying, look, go over here, go in timeout, go sit over here for 20 minutes so I can calm down. You know what I'm saying? It's not really so much for the child, but at that same time, what really is kind of hard for a child is to sit still in a room or sit still somewhere and not do anything. So then the important thing is to, once they're done, once you come in, you don't reiterate what they did wrong. You don't say, okay, now next time you listen to what I'm saying. No, you just rub them on the head or give them a kiss, say time's up, and then they go back to their business. But this is a timeout for you. Now, I'm not saying you have to even do timeout, but I'm just saying if you find it difficult to keep your hands off your kids or from going off on them verbally, use timeout. Because like I said, it's not the way of Rasul Sallam to treat our children. So make sure you implement that because it can have very bad outcomes, consequences. Dr. Valerie Boissonnier Ariza, the study first author, said, it's already well known that adversity in childhood could have a lot of negative consequences psychologically and socially. We wanted to look at more benign incidents of adversity, parents who yell at their children, slap them on their hand or bottom, take them by the arm and give them a shake or to discipline them. What we were surprised to find is that not only did these kinds of harsh parenting affect children's behavior into their teens, they were also related to changes in the functioning of their brain, especially in terms of processing fear and anxiety. I know a lot of these symptoms may also be masked, especially if we're Muslim, because we have such a good way of life that if we're at least knowledgeable of the deen, it can help us navigate around those feelings that we can't really articulate or come to grips with. But if a Muslim is irreligious, then this could just, irreligious meaning doesn't really know the religion, it doesn't practice much. This could get out of hand and cause other things like zina, drinking. It can come out in other ways. And kids who are abused are more prone to addiction. For the study, 84 adolescents were given a fear conditioning task involving looking at faces and hearing a piercing scream. They were followed over 10 years and split into groups depending on how harsh their parents were on them. Scans revealed that the brains of the young people with harsh parents process fear in a different way. The doctor said, I know it's easy to lose patience and want to lash out, but I'm totally against slapping a child. My goal isn't to guilt trip anyone, but I do want parents to think about what they do and realize that some kinds of disciplining aren't as harmless as they might seem. They could actually affect the child's brain, how it processes fear, especially when it's done over a long period of time. and no one should take that lightly. This study was published in the journal Biological Psychology. So again, this is just not the way of a Muslim. We treat our children with love. We give them kisses and hugs. We let them know they're safe. And this is what builds strength and courage. Otherwise, like I said, they can have all kinds of bad outcomes. And I've raised my children this way. They turned out fine. They turned out pretty well. And most importantly, they have good manners. You know, they're soft and kind to everyone in their family, to their friends. So, but if things come down to it, they can handle themselves. So you don't have to feel like you're toughening up your kid by doing that either, unless you're raising them in the Congo or somewhere where, you know, it's life or death. It's not that way in the West. It's not that serious. So hopefully, inshallah, we can learn a little bit from this. I know it's a little bit of a shorter video, but just wanted to put this out there because I don't really see anyone talking about it. At least I don't. So inshallah, if this is beneficial, if you know anyone who's struggling with, you know, with their emotions, inshallah, try to encourage them to find someone to talk to. So until next time, may Allah reward you for being curious and keep tying your camel. Assalamu alaikum.